like one of the videos we have coming up, and by the time this video comes out, it'll already be out. Like one of our next videos on steroids.
Wow.
And I predict it's going to be extremely popular.
Well, you've been pretty open
Why not?
about it.
Why not?
You've been, well, I mean, with all your videos, actually with just your career in general, you've been really open about everything.
Chris, I mean, if somebody likes me, outstanding. If they hate me, that's fine. But they're gonna be able to say Maven's at least honest, and he's not hiding anything. And I mean, what am I gonna? I mean, if you look at a picture of me in 2002 and then a picture of me 18 months later, there's a drastic change, and it's pretty obvious of what that change was. So why not just be open and frank about it? It's not something I was the least bit upset about. I'm not ashamed of. You know, I was in a career that's what it took to be at the next level.
Did you feel like you had to do steroids?
Had to in the form of forced by someone? No. Had to in the form of I wanted to be on TV? Absolutely.
Yeah, and you got a very unique job where you're out there in your underwear.
Yeah, every week after week. Yeah. That's the easiest way to put a burger down. I promise you that.
Sure.
And I broke my leg early in my career. And, while I was off, while I was healing up, I was like, I'm not gonna take anything. And the doctor that I was working with, he was like, just stay off everything. So then my leg, once it healed up, I was a little bit out of shape when I went back, and I got backstage, and guys were, wrestling locker room's pretty tough on the psyche. And guys were ribbing me and everything, and you best believe I got home, and I was pounding stuff immediately.
I think that fans think it's like, someone is sitting there in the locker room with like a bag full of stuff going, what exactly do you want here? Want some D-balls, Deca, Winstrol?
It's because people seen the wrestler. And maybe in, smaller indie shows, I don't know, that was the case. I never saw steroids. I mean, I know Jose Canseco talks about in his book Juiced. He was shooting guys up in the locker room. Not the case in a wrestling locker room. Anything anyone did, they did in the privacy of their own home.
And I'm sure, and you certainly don't have to name names here, I'm sure that when people found out that you were on it, that was a topic of conversation that you could share. Oh, what's your cycle look like right now?
Yeah, absolutely. And other guys would help me. I remember, and again, like my channel, I'm not going to out anybody, but I remember talking to a very well-known superstar, and because he, encouraged me to get on some, he's like, hey, this stuff works. And he's talking about Anavar. And I got on it. And I, went and told him about it, and he laughed at my dosage. I was like, yeah, I'm taking 30 milligrams. He's like, what? He's like, I'm taking 180. I was like, oh God. But it worked. I upped my dosage, and it's just something that I have no problem. I'm 46, Chris. I mean, what am I trying to hide? Who am I trying to pull the wool over anybody's eyes? I don't have an agenda. I'm not trying to get hired by anybody. It's just, if anything else, I just want to be honest.
People, unfortunately, though, think it's a magic pill. That, like, if you take steroids, you're just automatically going to look like Ronnie Coleman.
No, it's the reverse, actually. If you take them, it forces you to work harder.
Sure.
Yeah, because whenever I would be off stuff, it was more difficult to go to the gym.
Sure.
I would be there, and I'd be like, man, really, what am I accomplishing?
Do you also feel like when you are on the cycle, you're like, I've got to use it. Like,
Absolutely.
I'm not only paying money for it, but like it's literally in me right now.
And as weird as this sounds, and everybody's body reacts differently. My body always reacted pretty well to the cycles I took. I had a doctor do my blood work, and he was like, yo, you'll probably do well with this, this, and this. And so I could actually feel it. Like, I could feel myself getting harder as I was doing it. And if when you feel that and then you see the results, man, it's like, I want more of that, and I don't ever want to let that go. So it's kind of an addictive, not a physical addiction, like where you're going to be withdrawing from it, but it's a mental and emotional addiction.
I could see why you would never want to stop.
Ever.
And there's a lot of guys that don't.
I was one of them. I was one of them. I probably didn't. I probably stayed on for 7 years straight.
So even after WWE?
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
Wow. Is it just because when you look in the mirror, you're used to seeing
absolutely
a certain image looking back at you?
Yeah. And when you start tailing off of that image a little bit, it's tough, man. It plays mind games on you, and it plays tricks on you.
I bet. But look at the way you looked, right? And there were so many guys in that era that, I mean, the era you were in especially, that was right before
the
testing.
Yeah.
I mean, those guys were gigantic.
Massive.
Yeah.
Massive. And when I got into the WWE, I weighed 205 pounds. At my largest, I was 245.
Wow.
But I needed that physical transformation to be in the ring with guys who routinely weighed 315. Because if someone's in there weighing 315, take Kane, for instance, or Taker. If there's a 100-pound difference, then it just doesn't look. It just doesn't. It's not a good aesthetic look. But if there's a 50-pound difference weight-wise, all of a sudden then I don't want to say it looks more real, but it looks like that could be a fight that actually could be happening.
Right. And then, it looks like you could maybe win against someone that size.
Exactly.